Hello and welcome back to the Pick Up and Play podcast, episode 9. We are back after a little bit of a hiatus, but we've got a lot to talk about. I'm back with my friends Scott and James. We've got a very interesting episode today because a very special segment at the end of this podcast that we've called the Widows of Verdansk. And it's not as morbid as it sounds. Scott,
They're still alive.
Yeah. Scott, explain to the listeners what we did.
So what happened was, obviously, in lockdown, we've all locked our doors, and we've played Call of Duty so long that our fiancés all died and starved to death. Yeah, and sometimes what we do is you dress them up as players from Warzone and bring them out, like Miss Havisham.
So James, could you explain what we've done?
Love you.
So what we actually did was surrender our controllers for a short period to our fiancés and let them try and experience just a little taste of what it's like to play a little bit of multiplayer and then a little bit of zombies. Just to ease them in. We didn't let them go wild with our Warzone accounts.
Yeah, exactly. But then we also had them on for a little chat on the podcast after as a post-mortem to their experience kind of thing, and to sort of give them a chance to explain to us and to each other, and I think kind of confide in each other the problems that come along with having a boyfriend or a fiance, as it is, that is constantly playing Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah, it's a good synopsis of what happened. Okay, fine, we didn't kill them, fine, we'll let them die.
So that segment is coming up at the end of this podcast, so stay tuned for that. Before that, though, as always, we've got Croxton's Dubious News, and it's a bumper pack edition of Dubious News this week. It's extra dubious, it's extra news, it's Croxton's Dubious News. And we also have episode 2 of our new regular segment, Gulag Court, where I am prosecuting both Scott and James at the same time. I'm going to attempt to take them both down on my own, and we will have Dan come in afterwards and judge. All right then, so let's get into it. You two are fresh off of a session of the ranked version of Call of Duty Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to convince me that it's the best thing to do, to get on there and join you. I'm a bit dubious. I'm not really a multiplayer guy. Get a bit frustrated with it. But you're having fun with it, right?
So explain to me the reason, or explain to us the reasons you don't like multiplayer, and I think we'll be able to explain to you why you should now play it.
Well, I think, one of my big things that I know you're going to be easily able to refute now that there's higher stakes in the ranked version is that multiplayer just seems so inconsequential. You just throw away. It's like, I go in there, I'll die 50 times, I kill 100 times, hopefully, and it doesn't matter. Whereas Warzone feels like, something, it just feels more important.
Yeah, so...
and you're going to tell me now, well, it's ranked mode now, so everyone's trying to win the objective, and if you don't win the objective, you're going to go down a rank, so you've got to win the objective, and it matters.
But that's exactly it. Like the whole objective of playing the rank, you can still play the non-ranked.
You love an objective, Conway.
I do.
And the onus isn't necessarily on killing people. There's no free-for-alls. It's like control, dominations, search and destroys. So there is actually a value on your life, and also smaller teams of 4 make it really, really fun because you can operate much better. You can talk to each other, and it's a little bit more tactical. It sort of blends the two quite nicely, and it's just something different. Because I'm really, really bored of multiplayer. I go on multiplayer to shoot and run, which is quite nice. I quite like with no the no consequences, when having lots of consequences all the time on Warzone and getting fucked off with it because of that. So then I quite like thinking, do you know what? I just want to die loads, and I want to kill loads of people, and that's what I do. Whereas it's a nice blend of the two. What do you think, Crocs?
Yeah, I love it. I would love it more if our good friend Mr. Conway would come and join us, because the one frustrating part of this 4-player team mode setup is if you get a couple of donkeys on your team, you are so reliant on them, and unless you're playing in-game chat, which we never do anyway, like we have no form of tactics except for if we happen to repeat this pattern a couple of times in Control or Search and Destroy, they might pick up on it. So yeah, we need our friend to help us.
So what do you want me? What help am I going to be?
Well, no, because it's another teammate who we get along with, and we can work together. Whereas earlier on, like, it was just some random guy called Stu PJ, and he was just camping in the corner, and they're planting the bomb, and he can see that they're planting a bomb. He's watching them. I'm watching the kill cam, I'm watching his cam now. Sorry, and I can see they're planted on his screen. I'm like, help, do it.
Yeah, but you're shouting into your mate.
Doesn't want to kill anybody, doesn't want to try and win. And so you do get the odd noob, but it's going to be massively counterproductive. So generally speaking, I think what will happen is you'll get most people wanting to play properly because they want to move up the ranks themselves. Yeah,
and I think what is fun about ranked mode is that you get put into a level that is suitable for you. It's I always talk about it because I love it, and I know you two can't be bothered with it anymore. But Rocket League does this perfectly. You end up playing ranked, and you're playing with people who are your skill level and like are exactly not exactly, but like you're not getting absolutely smashed every game because everyone's around the same skill level. And to have that with Call of Duty, that is good. So tell me about the rank system then. So you did your placement matches, and you said there was 5 placement matches, and then you get your rank, right?
So yeah, as you said, so we do our 5. You do your 5 qualifying matches. That gives you a sense of where they're going to place you. We got whatever it was, level 1, subsection 35, whatever. And it seems to have worked quite well. Scott, we walked into a Search and Destroy earlier, and our first game we got absolutely spanked, and we were screaming to the rafters that, this is not skill-based. Like, we have got absolutely thrown in the deep end here. But we ended up turning that round, and it was a 5-6 loss at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a 5-6 loss. And I think actually maybe we was like, this is bullshit because we were playing rubbish. And there is sometimes you just got to accept that actually I'm not well out of my depth. I'm not in the wrong lobby. I just played shit.
Yeah. So was that your first game on since you got your rank then?
No, we played ranked a couple of times after we actually got it. So I think when we did the first 5 matches, then we maybe played another 2 games. And basically how it works is you're in a league table. If you win a match, it's called ladder points, and you have to finish in the top 10 to get promoted at the end of the season, which I don't know how long they are, but there's like 2 days left now, so probably a week. And at the end of that season, if you've got the amount of ladder points to get you in the top 10, you move up a rank, move up the ladder. And every time you win a game, you get 100 ladder points plus the bonuses if you've got any. So normally it's around 110, 120 points for a win. And if you lose, it's minus 60. And it naturally just knocks you down. So me and Croxton are currently we started off this evening like 35th, and now we went up to like 14th, and now we're sitting at 19th because we lost the last Search and Destroy.
So there's loads of different subsections then that you're then.
You can't actually see where your league is. It's a little bit confusing.
But if you're saying you've got to be the top 10 out of how many?
I can't. I didn't go all the way down to see how many people were in our league. I don't know, but there was loads of people.
You imagine there must be like thousands and thousands of playing.
I think it's around 50, because I'm sure I saw like the lowest I saw in there was like rank 47, and there was a few people in there, so that maybe there was like 3 people at 47.
And what I've not quite picked up on yet is: are we playing just people from that league? Are we playing just people from subsection 35? So are we going to come across the same players regularly? Do we have to? Surely not, because then you have to wait for them all to be on fucking line. So it's going to have to
that's what I don't really get.
Similarly,
maybe there's loads of different sort of groups at the same level, but you're in your group and your league table is just for yours, and then you'll play everyone like sort of horizontally across.
Yeah, that's right.
That's sort of the players it will take.
That would make sense,
to plot you against, and then you can get up by winning your particular league table. But that's a bit of a weird way, because depending on the skill of your particular league, someone could get promoted that's not as you could get promoted in a less good league and shouldn't. Now you're with players that have got promoted because they actually earned it, sort of thing.
And but that's the same with anything, isn't it? Like, I was thinking about this in comparison to, like, say for example, like real life football. Oh well, you've got teams playing in the Champions League like Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid. Meanwhile, there's teams from fucking Ukraine that are shit, but they make the Champions League. They make the Champions League, even though probably every Premier League side is better than them, because the standard is just much better in the other league, even though they're technically the same top divisions in their respective countries. Like, it's just that's probably not a great
Interesting.
analogy.
The other thing I'm thinking about then is, say you're a bang out, you're really good, but you decide, I'm going to take like 2 weeks off. I'm not playing multiplayer. I'm going to play Warzone or whatever you do. You're going to finish bottom in all of your leagues, and you're going to just demote every couple of days. And then what, are you going to come back and then be playing in a league that's totally easy to you because you've demoted? Like, could you sort of reverse? Because that would be what reverse boosting is, really. It'd be like going down a league to make it easier. But then I suppose the idea of the league is just to show off your rank, isn't it? Like
And I'm not sure.
Your rank.
I don't know if I read about getting relegated or not. I'm assuming you must, but
I think you can only. I'm pretty sure you can only go up. Because if you go up, you're permanently back in that rank. I don't think you can move back down a tier after that.
Ah, interesting. So we are going to go straight into the dubious news from Croxon.
Croxon's dubious news disclaimer. All news stories are rumour and not to be taken as fact. All comments should be taken as such and likely nothing more than ramblings and nonsense, much like this disclaimer. Okay, so I think what we need to talk about first is, in terms of Warzone, in terms of Cold War, with Season 2 on our doorstep. We've got, a week left until Season 2 drops, and even less until the new zombies and bits like that come out. So what we've been seeing in Plunder is a little tease for this, but there's been rumours of an open world zombie game mode coming to Warzone, which is called Onslaught. Now, the idea of that is whether it's going to be based on the Warzone map or it's going to be a fireteam size map. We don't know, but there's been teasers of it going to be either player versus zombie or player versus zombies. They're billing it as an open world experience, so you've got a little bit more free roaming. I don't think it necessarily means that you are pushed in with the gas or whether it's survival. We've seen little teasers with this, with the zombie trial machines that you get in the most recent zombie maps. They have popped up in the bottom of Hospital in the new 50v50 Rumble matches. I think it's as a little teaser, and it's saying activate, deactivate zombies. So whether you can spawn them on request or what that means, I don't know. But there's been various little teasers that have been coming out with new weaponry. They've been dropping little bits into the game ahead of Season 2 launch.
So yeah, that does sound interesting. I would like to see more weird and different things done on the Verdansk map, purely because I find it quite fun to do those different things on a in an environment that you're used to, that you know the terrain. We basically know every part of Verdansk now for the back of our hand. And so if you used to say to us, right, you've got to get from Dam all the way down to Boneyard, and you've got to fight through zombies to get there, that'd be fucking awesome. I think that'd be great, and I'd really enjoy that. And I think the possibilities are endless for what they could do with these different modes. So I'm quite excited to see what would happen. I don't think the Halloween special zombie mode was quite...
No, it wasn't very good.
It didn't quite scratch the itch that I think we were all looking for.
No, I wasn't exactly mourning it when it got taken off. It was fun to try it, but it wasn't anything.
Let's be honest, when we could play it, we didn't really much.
We probably played a little bit more night mode, if anything.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, mentioning that night mode, I really enjoyed night mode. I did a lot of solos with my Kali sticks on night mode, and it was really fun. What that felt like to me, playing solos on the nighttime mode, and just solos in general, actually, just feels like a horror game.
Mm-hmm. It is very tense.
Especially when you're playing Kali sticks and Riot Shield tactics, because if you think about like any horror game, like you're playing against zombies or vampires or whatever, monsters or whatever, you're the only one with a gun, You're the only one with like, I don't know, whatever weapon or however you're killing enemies, you're the only one with that setup. And so when you're playing with K sticks and right shields in solos, you're usually the only one doing that. So it kind of feels like it's a single player game with all these really difficult and like sort of really good AI, basically.
Really intense NPCs.
Yeah, and especially at night. At night, it was so tense and scary. Like I can't explain to you how much it was. But yeah, so
yeah, I mean, another part of that is whether that's going to be another sort of temporary or limited feature, or it's going to be the season 2 sort of launch for the live event, which has again been heavily rumored that there is going to be some sort of live event, like when we had to get the intel and then run to the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, didn't make a lot of sense.
But fucking pointless.
Go to Conway in Control on YouTube to watch a video of us experiencing that live event.
Or there's also videos of watching paint dry.
It wasn't that bad. Scott's was bitter because he was at work that night and couldn't play.
No, but when I found out what it was actually for, what you actually...
yeah.
The next day when I could actually log on, I just had the same information.
Yeah, what it was for was not worth the squeeze, as you like to say, Scott. But the experience of... Before we knew what it was, before we had that disappointment, it was quite fun to go around and get all the clues and fight people and then intensely run towards the stadium thinking something bad was going to happen if we didn't.
Yeah, I think that the whole zombie element would be quite cool. Like you say, like if it was sort of like, you had to, survive the zombie sort of onslaught in Verdansk, where you had to do certain tasks and run around. And I think that'd be really, really quite cool. But like you said, like the zombie mode they brought in last time wasn't even really zombie. It was like aliens on fucking steroids. It was a joke. And then you could die, but you can come back as a zombie and then jump around like a lunatic. But it's almost impossible, even though you was this overpowered zombie that couldn't get near anyone. I was like, oh, fuck this. Sorry, it really didn't work for me. They've tried many different things. That was one that was not really that well received, was it? It was.
No.
I don't remember anybody talking about it since. Or going, oh, do you remember that? I haven't seen loads of videos online of the zombie games. Oh yeah, this was really good.
Yeah.
No, that's all fair points.
I just want to talk about one thing. Talk about these little game modes. I want to go off on a little tangent. Do you think Resurgence is done?
No,
or is it just done for us?
I do see a lot of videos online of people still playing it.
So do I.
And then, because I saw those the other day, I decided to jump in there with, I think it was Dan and Crocs.
Yep.
When we was waiting for Scott to come online. And I just thought, I'll just have a little game on Resurgence. That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We died instantly 3 times in a row.
It was so much sweatier.
We couldn't get started on it. I think it is fun. It is good. It's a good mode because it's fast paced. It's intense. It's over relatively quickly, but
especially quickly if you're us.
Started the other day. Yeah.
So Conway, to circle back to your love of night mode, and I don't know why this would be added or whether it's been a glitch in the game, but there's been
a reminder for the listeners. This is Coxon's dubious news. So everything to be taken with a pinch of salt.
The disclaimer is there for a reason. So
you are disclaimed.
So why this would be added, or if it's just for maybe the live event, but apparently lightning storms and weather features like that are being added into Verdansk.
Ooh.
What's your thoughts?
Oh no!
It's always a very bright, sunny day in Verdansk, isn't it? Well,
yeah, there's a reason for that. It's visibility. It's key.
Well, you say that, but I have had the sun in my eyes a couple of times.
Yeah, I've been playing Terra recently, and the bit where you have to look up into the sun to go into that magic world, that is really annoying. And I think it would be quite annoying in Warzone 2. I don't think that weather mode... What's Thunder and Lightning going to do? What was the point? It's going to rain a bit? It's snowy one side, and it's fucking bright sunshine the other.
Well, you imagine if you've got beautiful, crisp visibility, and then you can see a rolling thundercloud moving over, and you know that's your chance to run because your visibility's down.
Yeah, but also, imagine being in a gunfight. It's hard enough as it is because you're in the sweatiest lobbies you can be, and then they fucking make it even harder by not being able to see. I just won't want to play. Hard enough as it is with perfect visibility.
Right, well, if you're going to have thunder and lightning and rain, do you know what? I'm not playing.
You know what? If you want to change it, I ain't doing it.
Look, I'm just going to say, right, nothing in the world is made better by thunder and lightning and rain, right? Including Warzone. All the things I like doing, going out, going to the pub, playing cricket, playing golf, walking the dog. They're all fucked up by weather like that. So don't do it to Warzone as well.
Well, Scott, tell us how you feel, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I think you might have a point though, because since we can't go out very much these days, I think there is something to be said about our brains being tricked into thinking we've gone out on this big adventure and run through the woods and like gone up mountains and stuff because we've been running through Verdansk. I'm sure it must, like, on some level, like, give us some dopamine and cheer us up a little bit. And then to Scott's point, we could then like think, oh, like, let's escape the reality of lockdown and like the mundaneness of everyday life, and we log on and just pissing down with rain in the game.
It's just
You just look outside your window, rain. You look at your TV screen, rain.
Yeah. It's like, oh, there's a big old thundercloud coming. Might as well go home then. Everyone get in their cars. That's literally
Everyone stay indoors.
Yeah, well, that's the picnic over. No, I just do you know what? Right, it's getting on my nerves a little bit. Stop fucking about with it, trying to make other stupid little modes. Just make a new map. That's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
Just make a new map, right? Mucking about with it. Okay, yeah, the zombie mode could be quite cool as a little caveat. That's fine. They should have done that 6 months ago anyway. Stop fucking about. Oh, we're going to make it rain now. I don't care. Just give me a new map and refresh everybody's palettes like we all want. And I'm assuming, Croxy, you're going to start talking about the season 2 trailer in a minute.
I was going to, yeah. I wasn't getting onto that yet. But my new goal for Dubious News is just going to be to come up with ridiculous concepts which are going to upset Scott.
Well, I'm thinking of introducing a new segment for Scott, and it's just going to be called, You Know What?
You know what? Come on.
I'm taking my ball and going home.
You know what? With Scott Jackson. Take it away, Scott.
I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but for some reason when we're sitting there and you was like, oh, Croxton's Dubious News is extra dubious. And you don't have to include this bit in the podcast. It doesn't have to be the final cut. I was thinking to Croxton sitting at home and he's reading all this news and it's really, really dubious and it's all like looks at him, beams out from the screen and he's like, oh my God, the power of rumour compels you. And he starts writing it all down in his little notepad. And I can't get past this little thought now of Croxton being like possessed by dubious news. And that's why, and I'm getting a bit annoyed. Can't focus on the actual game because I've got this sort of like, what was that film, The Conjuring? Right, I've got that film of Croxton sort of like being possessed, and we're going to have to get the Warren family over to come over and do an exorcism on him to get him off dubious news and bullshit.
You'll never get him off dubious news.
Yeah, no, someone's just sort of like holding the PS4 user manual up and flicking Fanta over him, going.
saying, look, Croxton, that can't possibly be true. It's not within the remit of the PS4.
Can you do this? It's 9K. Anyway, sorry, I don't know. Continue with your news. Sorry.
If you can.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh. Okay, so we've got some new rumoured field upgrades coming in. So Conway and Scott's favourite word to hear from me is they found some files from data mining. Within these files...
You've changed it now. You've said they found some files from data mining. Usually you just say, like, through data mining, I found out. And it always makes it sound like you've done the data mining.
So within the...
at home with his hard hat on and his little pickaxe, chipping away on the dark web.
So within the files they found... And these have all been field upgrades from previous Black Ops games, but they've got a assault shield, barbed wire, and dogs.
What are you going to do with the barbed wire? Is it going to be like a proximity mine? Are you going to put it over doors and on a wall, stop people climbing up the zip line?
I mean, tactically, yes. I imagine it's a deterrent or something that's going to slow people down as they're running into an area.
If we were more Call of Duty minded, and maybe if we'd done our Call of Duty homework, we might be able to know what they're actually used for. What the hell's an assault shield, though?
No, I have no idea. I'm just reading what I've learned.
An assault shield?
I mean, surely that's just a riot shield, but who knows?
Yeah, shield can't fire stuff. Oh, I don't know.
But you know what? It might be. Yeah, you can use a riot shield. You've got your 2 guns, but if you've got that upgrade on, then you can use a riot shield for a short period of time.
Yeah, it might be like you could pick up like a deployable cover. It could be something like that.
Yeah, that would make a bit of sense, I suppose.
It'd
But
also
the
be-
third one, which I think would be fucking hilarious, but also terrifying, is the reintroduction of dogs.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be.
well, that's not going to be a field upgrade, is it? If anything, that's going to be a kill streak.
Kill streak.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and when okay, so say for argument's sake, it is a kill streak, and it's I don't know, it's going to be quite expensive, I'd imagine.
Oh, it'd have to be.
What
I mean,
would you?
Would it be for hunting them down, or would it be for trying to track someone down? Your dog's going to lead you to a team or one player.
Like a sniffer dog.
Yeah.
Like a little spaniel.
a little Nelly.
Yeah, you got a little cocker spaniel running around next to you, pissing everybody off. Oh, he's done a shit on the roof. We have to go. and got a black bag. Anyway, someone put that deployable cover over it.
Well, the dog's not doing it. It's just running around the player and barking at him. It's not doing any damage.
Yeah, why's my dog run off?
Oh, no, it's eating the grass, for fuck's sake.
But so yeah, I don't know about that, because this is the thing. You've got to be really careful with the kill streaks that they introduce into it, because it could just ruin it. Like, imagine you had a chopper gunner, or like a napalm, and it'd just be ridiculous, wouldn't it? You're like, oh well, everyone's now dead in that entire area because of the fucking napalm strike. I just think it would ruin. Or you had a chopper gunner and you killed like 30 people, in the space of like the minute that you've got it for. I think the kill streaks have got pretty good, and if they did start introducing them, I mean, the dogs, what would they do? Like, if you're hunting a building, you could send the dogs up one side and you can go up the other. I suppose, I don't know.
Yeah,
and it turns your team from a quad into fucking what like an octopus. Squiddly Diddly's coming after me. I don't know.
Not a fan then, Scott.
No. Leave it as it is. Make a new map like we all want, and that's my lot. I'm going to say every week until they do, and if they don't, then we'll write to Activision.
Scott's protest is just going to be us suffering his repeated points
and whinging.
Yeah.
No, but come on, they've got to do it, haven't they?
I mean, the year from launch is coming up. That's got to time in with season 2 somewhere, hasn't it?
But the thing, well, yeah, but they've got as much money and crap out of it as they can, haven't they? Because they're starting to lose followers now. They're starting to lose like gamership. Like they're starting to.
Are
lose
they though?
players.
Do we know that, or is that just our opinion?
No, I genuinely think they are, because I know quite a few people that would originally played it and now are bored of it and don't play it. I mean, let's be honest. Our resident here, Conway, is borderline in that category now. Doesn't like it when he's quite bored of it. For reasons.
But it's got nothing to do with the map, though, I have to say.
Do you think if they had a new map, you'd be more interested in wanting to play it, explore it?
Really? No, I would, but I wouldn't solve any of the problems that I'm actually feeling about Warzone now.
No, I mean, the problem is...
It'd probably make them worse, because I'd be getting killed instantly on a map I don't know.
Skill-based lobbies need to be a lot better. They need to be a lot stronger matched, and they need to do a lot with banning. I mean, I read something last week. I don't know if it's going to be in your news box about the ban. They banned 60,000 people or 60,000 players on the Warzone in a day. That just shows you the level that they're experiencing problems at. For whatever level of ban they got, I don't know, but they put that on their Twitter, and I was like, if they're banning 60,000 players, that shows you the level of issues they're experiencing, like in terms of hacking, cheating, boosting, whatever you want to do it. And that's one I think genuinely is a major problem. I know it's a much bigger problem on PC, but it is a real problem, the cheating and the hacking and the boosting and stuff. Do you not think?
Yeah, apparently it's really, it goes in peaks and troughs, I think, with how bad it's getting. But just before that ban, I think the PC players were getting really frustrated. Luckily, because we're on PS4 or PlayStation, we turn off crossplay and we only play with other PlayStation players, which means that we don't get people on PC, which is where you get most of the hackers. So
you do get cheaters on there. You do get people with strike packs and
Yeah, but it's much harder to tell when that's happening, and so it's not generally something we run into is hackers or people cheating in it.
And if it does,
in
it
any way.
is so painfully obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's only been one or two times I've genuinely thought that person's hacking.
Yeah, but if you speak to a PC player who plays as much as us, they would tell you that they see it all the time. Like in a session,
Yeah.
they probably have like 2 or 3 games where they'd see a hacker.
I genuinely don't think I could play. And everyone's like, "Oh, PC, PC gaming, it's the pinnacle. It's it's the holy grail of gaming." And then you're playing those lot every day. Well, fuck that, I don't want to play that.
Yeah.
I don't want to play. I'll play a bunch of cheaters. I don't want to play that. No, I'd rather just play on my own.
That's what you said to Hannah the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah. If you're going to cheat, if you're going to fake it, I ain't doing it.
Right, yeah, Crocs, have you got any more dubious news?
I've got one more bit of dubious news. So, a resurgence to life of Modern Warfare. So
right.
what they're going to be releasing in season 2 is, I don't know if Conway you watch a few compilation videos, but the Sikov pistol, which is traditionally a Modern Warfare gun. So it's an 80 round rapid fire pistol which can run dual wield. It's absolutely fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
but
God, the YouTuber, was showing that off the other day.
And I believe there is a way of
like
getting the gun at the moment, but it's traditionally a Modern Warfare gun. So if you want to level it up fast, are you going to have to be back onto Modern Warfare to do that?
Potentially, but
I doubt it. I doubt it. I reckon it's going to be Cold War. Going to bring it in, and it's just going to be a Cold War gun. There's no way they're going to direct traffic back to Modern Warfare at this point. The reason this is called Season 2, even though the game's been out for a year, is because it's Season 2 of the Cold War era of Warzone. I can't see them directing traffic back to Modern Warfare.
I mean, but this is a gun that's going to drop into Warzone. So is Warzone was originally created by Activision, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they can surely drop in as in what they like.
They're all one company though, like Call of Duty.
Okay, my bad.
Well, no, they're not one company. Like obviously, there's different developers for the two different sides of the games, but they're called Call of Duty. They're both called Call of Duty because they work together. They're not. Well, what I'm trying to say is one's not going to do something that's going to dick the other one over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to direct traffic back. Would make no sort of like operational sense.
But it is interesting that it's traditionally a Modern Warfare gun.
Yeah, so I think we can look forward to another game-breaking, desperately needed in nerfing, rapid-fire pistol to look forward to.
So, did I hear it right? 8-0. It's got
8-0. 80 round rapid fire
in a pistol.
In a pistol.
It's got a shopping bag of bullets underneath it.
Yeah, like the round case that you get on a Mac 10.
Yeah,
I think it's got something like that.
How can you carry that? This is so unrealistic.
Must be like hand. Little mini bullets that are like, shut up. must be like mini bullets, like little
grains of rice.
Bullets or something. Like do you know in Tom and Jerry where he used to like bite a melon and then spit all the seeds out really fast like a machine gun?
Yeah. Or sunflower seeds.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see if so. Basically, that gun's coming out. It's a pistol, which means it can probably be dual wielded, which means to hold one in each hand, and so you can potentially be firing two of those guns at the same time in someone's face, and they're going to get deleted.
You can be shooting 160 bullets out of a pistol at that close range and not have to reload. That's ridiculous. Considering the reload time. I mean, I hope when they reload it, right, I have to put one pistol down, right, and then I have to take off this mechanism and then blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? It takes 3 minutes to reload it, because how long it takes me to reload the stoner, I have to obviously carry.
Do you know what's funny? The last dual wield pistols that were breaking the game were the what they call the Diamatis, aren't they? And you can put an attachment on there that's used the fast mag, which means that you can reload faster. And essentially, you're holding two guns, and then you just take the guns out of the screen for half a second, bring them back up, and you've reloaded. Like your person must be like your character must be so good that he's got like the bullets on his belt and he can just unclip them and chuck the new ones in all in one smooth motion. And I know that's like it's a game. I know I'm not pretending it's not, but I just would love to see one day like just fumbling with the gun, like he'd accidentally drop one and it goes off because it's got one bullet left in it, and then and you're trying to reload one and you drop the other one.
Yeah, or he's got him up his sleeve like a clown. Coming out, oh, for God's sake, there's all these other bullets up there.
Yeah, and your big LMG, your big stoner gun that you use, Scott. Like when he's reloading that, I'd love it if like just keep making mistakes and like
because just keeps jamming.
It's done so perfect.
When I'm reloading the stoner, not that I have to reload it much because it's either the other person's dead or I'm dead. But when you reload the stoner, it's literally like moving a piano. It's fucking John Obbs, or like trying to like shuffle past a really big person in a club. It's just ridiculous. It's so big. It's so cumbersome. You have to go to secondary, and then you're fucked.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, well, thank you, Croxon, for your dubious news. Look forward to your next instalment. Hopefully, even more dubious, if it's possible.
Less weathery.
More weather, got ya.
Bring some good news to the party, Croxon.
Yeah, Croxon's good news. That'd be a good section.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Everyone's going to get free Happy Meals when you win, and it'll be delivered by Uber Eats by models on push bikes.
On tandem push bikes.
On tandem push bikes, yeah. That only go up and down. They're all on penny farthings, balancing Happy Meals. I don't know.
Welcome to the Gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom. You're up, soldier.
In today's edition of Gulag Court, I, Adam Conway, stand accusing James Croxon and Scott Jackson of 3 counts. Count 1, abandonment. Count 2, cowardice. And count 3, evidence tampering. How do you plead on all 3 counts, James and Scott?
Not guilty, Your Honour.
Not guilty.
Well, this edition of Gulag Court is going to be judged externally, so you know it's fair. We're going to have Dan, our 4th host, judge this edition of Gulag Court because everybody else on this podcast are intimately involved in the proceedings. Intimately, yeah. We're very closely involved and could not possibly be impartial, I believe. So the video evidence of this heinous act of abandonment, cowardice, and evidence tampering will be available in the description of this podcast to watch. But I will describe to you what happens right now. James, Scott, and I are dropping into Verdansk, as we are wont to do. We spot a scavenger contract, a contract that will guarantee us a good amount of money to start the game off. Now, the contract is located on top of a crane, and I, bravely, I might add, opt to...
Objection, Your Honour, self-inflation.
Overruled. I fly straight down onto the scavenger contract, despite the calls from my friends saying that there are enemies following me in, joining me in their attempt to get the scavenger contract. And I go gung-ho, full in, knowing or thinking that my teammates will be there to help me. I land on the crane, and I'm met with two enemies. I down one by beating him in the face with my pistol, and the second one downs me. Now, I'm thinking at this time, no worries, my buddies are here. There's one down already. There's only one left. I'm sure they will save me. And I look around. I'm wondering where my friends are. And they're nowhere to be seen. Why are they nowhere to be seen? Oh, well, one, because Scott just landed on a different crane or landed somewhere else. And James redirected to go and get a helicopter. A helicopter's not going to save my life. A helicopter's not going to prevent me from going to the Gulag. I'm down. I'm faced with 2 enemies standing in front of me, and my friends are going shopping for transportation, Absolutely ridiculous. So that's my first count of abandonment, because they have abandoned me. My second count of cowardice, because I suspect that they didn't follow me in because they were afraid of being killed themselves. And the video tampering is, as you'll see in the video, just before the moment I get killed, has been miraculously cut out of the video for some reason. It skips, and there's no reason why that would happen other than evidence tampering by the accused.
Okay, Scott, can I just jump in first, just for one moment?
Please do.
I know you're keen, and you've got a lot of points to cover. Yeah,
I'm itching.
Itching. Yeah. Okay. Come wait. Just to the very start of that tape, you say I changed my mind. In fact, and decided to go get transportation, a helicopter. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe it was very, very clear stated at the start, multiple times in that video. I will go and get the heli. I will go and get this heli. To which I then, as I'm going down, the third player got to that heli ahead of us, to which point I had to redirect. So as you hear me say, that someone else has got the heli, at which point I have lost my height and cannot then return to try and get on a crane where you are already down with bodies on top of you.
If your claims are true, then that possibly may acquit you for the count of abandonment.
I mean, the evidence is all there. It's all right there, and very, very clear.
My point being that Scott still stands accused of abandonment and didn't come and help.
I have been waiting patiently.
It's appreciated
for my chance to answer these accusations and allegations held against me. Mr. Conway, you first described this crime as a heinous crime. Do you know the meaning of the word heinous? Can I put that to you?
I'm looking at it.
Does it use the word wicked? Odorous? This crime wasn't wicked or odorous, Mr. Conway. It was accidental. Secondly, you clearly stated that you heard that there were people following you in. And you said that you went in gung-ho. Do you know the definition of the word gung-ho, Mr. Conway?
Please enlighten me.
I will. Gung-ho is an English term with the current meaning of overly enthusiastic or energetic. Emphasis on the word overly. You didn't have to go in there knowing the risk. Now, I accept that was the plan. However, as you land, you can clearly hear, before you're dead, me say, "Oh no, I've missed the crane." Now, I am not an expert parachuter, nor am I a paratrooper. And even if I were, I'd try to land on the floor. However, you tasked me with landing in a crane, not the easiest of tasks, I would add. Is it possible that I might have missed the drop zone? Is it possible that I may have just accidentally missed it and not abandoned you on purpose, as you so say? I think we would argue that that is a fair assessment of what has happened. The other accusation is that you suspect that we have of cowardice. Is that correct? So you suspected us of cowardice?
Yeah, I believe that the abandonment was inspired by cowardice.
Mr. Conway, if we took everything to court that we believed in, we would never go anywhere else but court. The world is built on many different suspicions.
I believe that the abandonment was caused by ingrained cowardice.
Okay.
I think you've been presented with two very rational and explanatory reasons as to why you were abandoned, or why you feel you was abandoned.
You may feel abandoned, but I pose this question to you, Mr. Conway. Do you think that's maybe just the way you feel and not what was actually happening?
No.
There is no burden of proof here, is there? Because there is no proof. There is no proof of a suspected cowardice. There is no proof of us abandoning you through a missed drop zone, or James doing his hardest to try and secure the helicopter. What happened was that you went in gung ho and unfortunately were killed, as we all were eventually in that game. And I think it would be argued that we could say that you abandoned us in these circumstances, Mr. Conway. I remember landing on the floor without my friends. And I believe Mr. Croxon also remembers landing by the helicopter without his friends. So I put it to you that you might have abandoned us, Mr. Conway. Is that possible?
As absolutely ridiculous. I'd like to direct the accused and the judge's attention to the evidence. So, as I understand it, Mr. Jackson, your rebuttal to the accusation of abandonment is that you were unable to land on the crane.
No. I wasn't unable.
Do you think?
I was fully able.
Mr. Jackson, let me ask you a question. Do you think that incompetency is a good defence in this case?
Incompetency. Now, as I described before, is this an easy task that you've tasked me with?
I seem to perform it with no trouble at all.
You also performed death very easily, Mr. Conway. I could argue the same thing of incompetence in battle. I think incompetence is ridiculous in this circumstance. It's not as if you asked me to spell my own name. It's not as if you asked me to cross the road. You asked me to land on a crane at speed from a parachute. I think that's a very, very difficult task.
How long would you say you've been playing this game, Mr. Jackson?
About a year.
About a year. And in that time, how many times do you think that you have parachuted out of the plane?
Oh, every single time I've played.
So we're talking in the thousands, are we right?
Most likely, yes, that's correct.
And in those thousands of times, you have not learnt how to land in a specific area?
I have, roughly, but I've never landed specifically in cranes at speed.
Mr. Jackson, what I'm suggesting is that you have had plenty of practice at landing exactly where you want to. I'm sure that if there was an orange loot box in your eye and you needed to land on top of a particular roof or through a particular window, you would have no trouble whatsoever. Yet it seems convenient that when I need some help fighting some enemies on a crane, you are nowhere to be seen.
Mr. Conway, let me
put this
technical
issues, he claims.
Let me put this analogy to you. Do you cook dinner every day, Mr. Conway?
I do.
How many times have you cooked dinner in your life, Mr. Conway?
I'd probably say thousands.
You would. Similar to the amount of times I may have parachuted, would one say?
Yeah.
Would you claim to be a gourmet chef or a 5-star Michelin chef? No, I thought not, because there are varying levels, irrespective of the amount of times you've done something. Doesn't necessarily relate to the skill or the competency in which you do it. Not that you're not trying or not that you've given it your best efforts, but you just haven't done it on that occasion. And I rest my case there.
I find this analogy preposterous. I feel like landing on the crane would be analogous to making spaghetti bolognese. You know, not as easy as making a bowl of cereal, but certainly not as difficult as making a gourmet meal. No challenge really for any experienced cook or, to break the analogy, Warzone player.
I think we can end the argument here. I think what's clear to see is that on the video you see my on the radar, my triangle, my avatar, whatever you want to call it, flying directly into the crane, and you hear me say, "Oh no, I've missed the crane," before you were dead. You could see me coming in at speed, the same speed in which you were moving, showing my intent to land and set
You never intended to land on that crane, Mr. Jackson.
How can you prove that? You can't.
The burden of proof is on yourself, sir.
Now. For count two for you, Mr. Croxon. Now that you've piped up.
All right, come on, Rinder.
Cowardice. I put it to you, and I strongly suspect that your recent fascination with grabbing the helicopter for the team, as you put it, is embedded in your cowardice and in unwillingness to engage in a fight. Your defense that you were going to get the helicopter and that you had nothing to do with all of this is just an excuse that holds no weight, and that you should be more willing to fight and help your friends rather than running off trying to get helicopters.
I need to interject here. I don't disagree with the allegations, Mr. Conway, that you put towards Mr. Croxon. I don't necessarily believe that that's untrue. However, He was tasked with getting the helicopter on this occasion.
A task he gave himself.
Did you
Nobody-
dispute it though?
It's just, yeah, this is the case. Nobody disputed it, me included. I'm not saying James isn't a coward. I'm not saying I don't think James does these things to avoid fighting, and I do believe there is a huge element of self-preservation in his task of collecting the helicopter. Similarly to ones where we have to go to the buy station, he drops his loot money so we can go and buy him the loadout.
Thank you for providing extra evidence to support
Or,
my case.
or starting most wanted contracts when we're looking for large amounts of cash. However, in this case and in this argument, it's impossible to prove that. And I think you know that, Mr. Conway. You're assassinating his character without any
I think that character has everything to do with this, and I'm glad that Mr. Dan Jackson, who will be judging and presiding over these court hearings, has plenty of experience in dealing with young Mr. Croxon and his antics. And I'm not sure he's totally would totally acquit you of cowardice for yourself, Mr. Jackson.
I feel as though I am stable and I am happy in my defence.
I feel as though your default position is I'll support you from afar, which is what you were trying to do here.
It's a shame you didn't have.
You never intended to land on that crane. You never intended to help me. You ran away.
Closing remarks from the defence, Your
Well,
Honour.
Mr. Croxon should be given the right to rebuttal on his cowardice accusations.
Do it quickly then, Croxon.
Okie dokie. So, you accuse me of cowardice on this count. You have no basis or there's nothing to be found on this at all.
I mean, your own fellow defendee has added to my defendant.
Yes, but you're trying to prove the burden of proof is on yourself, Mr. Conway, and unfortunately, you have no way.
The court has heard what the court has heard. Your character has been brought into disrepute, and I agree with what's been said.
You can agree all you like. It doesn't mean that was the case, and it will be down to the judge to decide so. I stake my intent from the very start of that game, regardless of what the motivations behind it were. It was stated, I went in for it and got taken out by the heli. I was that set to get that heli and beat that guy there. I got taken out by it.
Okay.
That doesn't show... That is not cowardice.
That's another case of incompetency on my count. I would like to direct our attention quickly to our last count that's been accused, is that I accuse you both of video tampering because as I die in this video, my video cuts out for a couple of seconds, missing the crucial information. How do you plead on that?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Obviously.
It's an incredibly frivolous claim that we have somehow edited or damaged or tampered with your video evidence.
Yes, that does seem to make sense. Okay, I'm willing to drop that count as long as the other two are upheld. Mr. Jackson, Mr. Dan Jackson, we await your all-knowing, benevolent judgment. Thank you, and court dismissed. All right, so now we have Dan on the line. Dan has listened to the full proceedings of the Gulag Court and is ready to give his verdict. Are you there, Dan?
I am indeed. Hello.
Hello, and we also have, rather unnecessarily, we have James on the line. James would not let me and Dan meet to give his verdict without his presence. There's mistrust.
Just based on your claims alone, I don't trust you, so...
What has happened?
So, I trust you've listened to the full Gulag Court segment.
Yes.
You've reviewed the evidence.
Yes.
There are 6 different counts, 3 for James, 3 for Scott, and we had cowardice, abandonment, and evidence tampering. What I'd like to do is get a guilty or not guilty verdict for each of those 6 counts. Over to you, Dan. Tell us what you think.
Well, look, okay, I've listened to this intently and I've reviewed all evidence. And so from what I saw, right, so first of all, I'm going to immediately refute James Croxon's argument of him going to get a helicopter because it was just simply untrue, wasn't it? And in fact, this was disproven by Scott himself when James said, I'm going to get a heli, and Scott actually said, no, let's all land together. The heli will be hot anyway. It was no longer talked about. And yet Croxon still went for the helicopter. So on this count, I believe you do have an argument. However, and this is a big however, I must say that it is integral that we take individual considerations into account when looking at this case. And I must say all three of you landing on the crane is an absolutely ridiculous idea. So whoever's idea that was, it was just a ridiculous idea in general. So on that basis, it's hard to defend your argument, Croxon. So, where do we go from there? I think the individual considerations we've got to take into account is, Conway, you are very gung-ho. And for me, this does look like one of these instances where you have died and are just looking for someone to blame, as you are so famous for. However, we also know Scott is a coward and will abandon you at the first sign of danger, and Croxon is only in it for himself. So on this basis, I feel this case should be immediately thrown out of court. If nothing else, it's just highlighted everyone's incompetencies and no one is to blame. I rest
Well,
my
the
case.
thing is, Dan,
It's a
the thing is,
mistrial.
no, it can't be. There are 6 counts of accusations. I'm not being accused of anything here. It's irrelevant whether or not I did anything wrong. It's the whole court proceedings is to find out whether or not James and Scott did something wrong.
Well, I think it is important to take into account the actual area of the landing zone that was chosen, and I would like to know who was responsible for that decision. Was it you, Conway?
I don't know.
Because I feel
Is
that
it
is
not in the video evidence?
no. I could have said if it was a group effort, then that changes the scenario a little bit. I believe it was
There was
probably a group decision. I would go with that. So I'm happy to move on to the counts.
right. Yeah. So we'll move on to the counts individually. We'll take Scott first and go through his counts. So he's accused of cowardice. Would you say he's guilty or not guilty of that?
Again, it's Scott. Of course, I see nothing else but to completely agree with you and cast him as guilty on all counts of cowardice ever. He would never have your back. You can't expect him to have your back. So more fool you, Conway. More fool you.
Okay, so that's guilty for one charge. Abandonment. Do you see that he? So to find that Scott guilty on abandonment on this charge, I'd have to say that you'd have to decide that he purposefully missed the crane rather than accidentally, as he says.
On this count, I feel he is not guilty. He is a highly incompetent player. I do not believe he would have the control to land in such a small space, particularly if there's any signs of danger. But no, I just think he's just what we class as a noob.
Right. Okay, that's fair enough. And video tampering. Do you think there's any credence to the accusation that he's edited my video to take out me getting killed?
I think that's a bit of a stretch, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I just think it's funny. To suggest.
On that basis, not guilty.
So not guilty. So for Scott, we've got guilty for cowardice, not guilty for abandonment, and not guilty for video tampering. Okay, moving on to Mr. James Croxon, who is present in the room. Count 1, cowardice.
On this count, I find James Croxon guilty of cowardice. I do believe, and this has not been considered before, but the point you made about Croxon going for helicopters to escape firefights, I feel that's exactly what he's been doing for all this time. And it's like my eyes have been opened to say, yes, Croxon is guilty of cowardice.
Okay, fair enough. We can't argue with that, can we? We can't argue with that. All right, so count 2, abandonment. What do you say, Dan?
Do you know, this is a tough one. Whereas Scott, I think he genuinely did miss the landing zone. Croxon obviously did still abandon you in favour of the helicopter, even after it was discussed that you wouldn't be getting it. So, unfortunately, based on that evidence, Croxon is guilty of abandonment as well.
Oh, devastating for Croxon.
I don't see any other way.
Okay, that's a lot to take in. We're probably going to have comments on this on the next podcast to see how Mr. Croxon reacts. Scott doesn't even know at this point. This is terrible, really. And the third count for James Croxon for video tampering. Do you think that he could have been involved in somehow?
Again, this is such a stretch. I see no option but to throw this one completely out of court. Not guilty.
Fair enough. I'm happy with what I've got so far. Excellent. Okay, well, thank you, Dan. Thank you for giving your fair and swift justice.
Thank you.
James, how do you feel about this?
I'm not pleased. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch the evidence to put together a plea for a retrial.
As guilty as I do find Scott and James on some counts of the accusations, I think part of the guilt should also be on the person who in fact chose that landing zone in the first place. And as I've mentioned before, if nothing else, this whole scenario just proves complete incompetency on your ability to work as a team and organise a tactic, a basic tactic of just landing on a scavenger. I was this close to throwing this out of court completely, but I do think there should be some reprimands on the counts that we have found guilty today, and I will say no more on the matter.
Wow, really harsh words. It's a couple of home truths in there from Dan. A lot. If nothing else, ladies and gentlemen, a lot to think about.
I'm just
Thank you, Dan.
disappointed. I thought we were better than this.
Thank you, Dan, for your judgment.
Welcome to the Gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom. You're up, soldier.
Okay, and here we are with all of our girlfriends and fiancés. They are all fiancés, actually, aren't they?
Yes.
Don't know if they're going to still want to be after today. We've just finished having our girlfriends play Call of Duty and seeing what against each other and see what they thought. Best to say that there's a bit of trauma in the room. We put them through the ringer with the zombies game and a little bit of free for all, turning them against each other. And it went great, I think. Let me do the introductions first. So first of all, we've got Lisa, who is James's fiance.
Hello.
Hello, Lisa. We've got Hannah, who is Scott's fiance.
Hello.
And we've got Emily, who's my fiance.
Hello.
It is audio only, Emily. So if you do wave, it will not be appreciated.
I can see people. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
over
can see
there.
people. Yeah, you're having a great time. That's fine.
Hannah did the most awkward hello.
It's fine. We've done more awkward hello.
It was like one of the Queen's bad addresses. Hello.
Right. So yeah, we've got you on today to talk. We're calling this section the Widows of Warzone. Would you consider yourselves Widows of Warzone? And what do you think about that?
100%. Didn't even have to think about that one. I don't even know who.
Go on, then let's talk to you first, then, Lisa. So what is it like having a fiance who is constantly playing Call of Duty Warzone?
Annoying, probably more than anything. Especially when he says, I'm just going to play with the guys for an hour tonight. And I say, okay, well, you know that I'm getting up early for school tomorrow. And just to clarify,
Lisa, can you
I'm
just
not
to clarify?
in school.
You're not a child.
I'm a teacher. I'm not a child.
Yeah, Lisa's got PE in the morning.
So obviously I have to I have to drive really fast, so I need to go to sleep early. So he says, "Yep, I'm going to play for an hour," and that he'll be quiet and not scream so much. And after about 5 minutes, he's literally like shouting and screaming, and I have to message him to tell him to be quiet. So that's annoying.
Can I make one point to that? You guys played for...
Anyway, Hannah, how you doing?
Whatever.
I'm joking. Go on. You got the right to retort. Go on.
You guys played for 5 minutes and absolutely screamed the place down.
Yeah, but nobody was trying to sleep. No one was sleeping.
And we were being chased by zombies, so
Yeah.
Somebody was probably sleeping somewhere.
Well, yeah.
Pedantic.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
levels of the the sort of the sound levels that you guys were screeching at, you probably woke them.
No comment.
20 to 9, it's not that late. And it was like 20 past 9 when we were screaming. It's 20 past 8 when we were screaming. It's not that bad. I don't think anyone was asleep. I hope. We live in a flat, so I hope no one was asleep.
Yeah, this is what I say. It's only 20 past 1 in the morning. No one's asleep. It's fine.
The thing is, though, Lisa, I'm totally with you on the shouting really loudly thing. When I can't go to sleep, like I'm trying to sleep literally on the other side of the wall.
Same.
And then it's the random shout. It's the throwing the controller down really loudly.
Oh my god, the controller! That's so annoying.
This is obviously you've come on here so we can ask you some questions, but also I think I would like to know some questions about my fellow gamers. So throwing the controller and stuff is the sort of thing.
I don't throw controllers. I put it down heavy-handedly. I don't throw it. It's not broken.
Well, okay, I can hear it when it hits the table. Like that's loud enough. Like I don't like if you're putting it down gently, I wouldn't be able to hear it.
In my defence, though, when I died, it was fucking bullshit.
You die all the time.
But do you know what I find funny? So Hannah will go up to sleep, obviously upstairs, and she won't hear me play Warzone, and she won't hear me scream, she won't hear me shout. I won't wake her up. But if we have an argument, and on the other side of the house, I call her name, she fucking hears it. I will literally be the complete opposite side of the house. I go, fucking bitch. What'd you say? Hold on a minute.
It's selective hearing.
So yeah, Hannah, how do you feel as a Warzone widow? Does it affect your life?
I can get on and do my own thing. Really, it's great. Go and do some cleaning, have a bath.
Yes, they have
what annoys you the most?
House.
Yeah, we have that advantage. Yeah,
we're all on the one floor.
Yeah. Although one advantage to me playing Warzone, or one thing that enables me to play so much, I think, is the amount that Emily sits and reads. Emily's happy to read for hours and hours and hours, which is brilliant for me.
I love to read. I just can't hear myself think with him screaming.
Yeah, it does depend on the mood and the situation going on. If there's a lot of anger around, it's much harder.
It's always anger with Call of Duty.
What thing annoys you the most then, Hannah?
The shouting. Because I'm sitting in the same room playing on my phone, and because he's got the headset on, he's just like stupid volumes.
Yeah. It's like obviously they can't hear anything else, so they just only and they it's almost like you want to hear your own voice when you're shouting.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to editing this piece because I can edit in between when you say about how loud we are. I can edit in some audio of you three just now.
Yelling and screaming and shouting.
Okay, all right, but we are new.
They don't know how loud they're being.
It's true, but you play this all the time, and the things you say to each other are so stupid.
Oh my God,
like what?
Like you guys were singing Oliver Twist the other day. And I had to text you the lyrics to get it right.
We do have fun, lads, don't we? We do have fun.
You were singing Food, Glorious Food, weren't you?
I'd do anything.
I'd do anything.
My favourite.
Oh, I'd do anything.
I'd do anything for loot.
The amount of times I've come downstairs trying to recall Scott singing All Things Bright and Beautiful.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Oftentimes we're flying into the war zone and we're in our parachute and Scott goes, right, should we sing a song? Start singing All Things Bright and Beautiful.
Depends on where we're going. If we're going to a nice area, I'll sing that song. Have you ever watched a game, Hannah? Do you know what's going on?
No, you go to the Gulag a lot and you go Gringotts a lot.
We go Gringotts a lot.
Gringotts, yeah, Gringotts.
I'm thinking, what is they playing Harry Potter?
I had to ask what that was.
What did I say about you the other day about Gulag? Oh yeah, because basically
you're always in the Gulag.
What I said to Adam was he gets so annoyed about being dead that he loses his Gulag because he's already annoyed. So he's already put his thing down. He's got annoyed, and then he picks it up again, and then he's like. And then he doesn't really try. He doesn't really try on the Gulag, so he loses it every time.
I had to Google what Gulag was.
Yeah, Hannah's asking what the Gulag is. So the Gulag, when you die in the Warzone, you get one extra chance to go to the Gulag, and you have to fight another player that's dead, 1-on-1. And if you beat them, you come back, and if you don't, you're out.
It looks like a disused toilet block.
That's exactly it. It looks like a school block.
Yeah.
Lisa would know.
Yeah, that's the old
still being
version.
at school.
So my question, because I know the answer to this for Emily, but I want to wonder about the other girls. So Emily was sometimes like caught the vibe of how intense the end of a game is, and sort of started watching the screen and watched us finish and win a game and sort of celebrated with us. Oh, yeah. She's on record as shouting "calm down" on our first ever win. Yeah. in the background. There's all us going, yes, fucking yes, calm down in the background. So, guys, have you ever watched a game of the boys playing, or watched the end of a game and see what it's all about?
Yeah,
or
I've watched a few. Probably not by choice, just so happened that I was in the room. But I must admit, I did get into watching, and it was I think Scott was the last one left at the very end, and he was in like this like a trench thing almost, and he was in there, and I think he won, and I just remember like screaming because I was really excited for them, and just like, having a moment and being like, no, I'm supposed to hate this, and just walked away.
Well,
I've definitely clapped before when you've won.
Yeah.
Hannah's never watched. Hannah has no interest.
You kind of zone out, and it's like watching a film in the end.
It's so boring.
Well, the thing is, you're always going to be watching without sound as well, which is always going to take you out of it.
Yeah, James is loud enough.
Is Scott screaming down his headset? That's all I think.
I think Lisa and I have ended up watching because we often in the same room, doing something else. And then if it catches your attention, you literally can't do the thing you're doing because it makes too much noise, and you get that it's really intense. Then you have to pay attention. You're like forced to pay attention.
Have the girls listened to the podcast? Because I make Hannah listen to the podcast.
I'm so sorry, Hannah.
What's your favourite bits?
I like James's news.
That's a lie, isn't it?
I also liked your little Nelly episode.
She likes the Nelly episode.
You did little bits about Nelly.
Yeah, Nelly stories, yeah.
I feel like I can't listen to it because I've heard it be recorded.
You've only heard 1/3 of it be recorded.
It's a loud third. It's a long and loud third. So I can't. I feel like
Are you telling me you've got no interest in what Scott and James had to say?
That's not what I said.
That's not what she wants to say out loud.
I will bring the comedic value, and Croxon will bring the hard-hitting news. And Adam's the glue that brings it all together.
They are just quite long, and I don't have.
Podcasts are standard an hour. And ours range between like 40 minutes and 55, 59.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's
what we're talking about, Emily.
And we've got no interest in gaming, why are we listening?
It's not all about gaming. There's something there for everyone.
Something there for your nan if you want.
There's current affairs. There's the court.
What was that bit that Dan did about these little tales?
Tales of Verdansk.
That was quite funny.
To be fair, I think I heard. You also play me bits sometimes, so I do hear things.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I have to listen to the whole thing. I feel like I've heard the good bits.
So do you think that you will listen to this one now that you're in it?
No, sorry, I'm shaking my head.
Even less.
No, for the people that can't see me shake my head. I hate my voice, so I can't.
Well, I don't know if you know, but our podcast is now one of the top 30 podcasts in the gaming industry in Sweden. We found that out today.
Yeah.
Based on an email we just got, which could or could not just be spam. Who the fuck
Carlos.
is Carlos? Carlos has sent us an email saying you're doing well in Sweden, lads.
If Carlos is correct, you could be heard by at least one person in Sweden.
If Carlos is correct, we could be going on tour through Sweden next year.
But my main concern with Carlos is he doesn't sound very Swedish. Why he's looking into the podcast sort of league tables in that industry in Sweden, not to say Swedish people called Carlos. I just doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Lisa, what about you? Do you listen to the podcast?
Nope.
Can you tell us what Warzone is?
Yeah.
Okay, what about Hannah and Emily? Can you describe what a game of Warzone entails?
Yeah, I think.
But I think he's asking you to do it, not just say yes or no.
Yeah, thanks.
When no one's watching.
Sorry. You all get in a plane and then
once upon a time
you fly over a map.
Yeah, do you remember that bit where you all get in the plane? I'm always going, "Come on, Croxon, get in the plane for fuck's sake!"
No, it automatically does that.
Oh right, that's good. Yeah.
So then you're in the plane,
Boarding
and
is the long bit.
You're all trying to decide where you have to go, and you like put coloured things everywhere to try and say where to go, and then you all shout at each other because you don't want to go to different places, and then eventually you have to get out of the plane.
But what's the objective?
Oh, to win.
To win what? How do you win?
to kill everyone in the game.
Yeah. Okay.
And the map closes in.
Oh yeah, and avoid the gas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can you describe the game, Hannah?
Not as yet as Emily, no.
I was going to describe the whole game. Like, I thought you wanted me to describe actually how the game works.
Oh, you mean like how it actually ends up working? I think what James was getting at is do you understand the fundamentals of what the game is about?
Yeah.
And what you're getting at is
The nuance.
I can now describe how the boys play it, and what they do is they fuck about, they do this, they swear, they go to the gulag. Yeah, that's not what we're interested in.
They sit in green dots and shout at each other.
Go to Gringotts and shout at each other.
Wouldn't that have been more? You hide in a building, called Green Box.
Yeah.
That's code word.
People come along and you just die because you just don't know how to survive.
You always blame each other on things as well. Like you always
you're always like, it's someone's fault.
Girls, like, does your guys blame you if they've got shot or anything like that? Because James does this, he'll get killed. Then I'll get up and walk past the TV, and he goes, "Oh, Lisa walked in front of the TV, and that's why I died." And actually,
I've definitely accidentally caused some problems because I've walked in front of the TV.
Hannah has definitely caused problems because she walks in front of the TV. And she now does this thing where she walks in front of the TV, and instead of walking in front of the TV, she knows when in a tense moment, she'll stop and look like a spider when you spot it. What do? And then I look at Hannah and I'm like, well, what? I need to go across the TV, and now I'm dead. I walked because you stopped, took my attention away, done this stupid pose.
Actually, I do the pose. Yeah. I do the spider. Are you right?
You do.
I like to stand there
and across the road when you're in Amsterdam. You know, you like watch the bike go by, another bike goes by, like there's a big gap, and then the bike comes by anyway. That's literally what happens.
Or I'll say to Scott, do you want a drink? And he's like, I'm fucking dead now. And I'm like,
I never know how to get Adam's attention, to be fair.
You just do like hand movements and things.
You have to like or tap a leg, and then you
don't know what kind of mood they're going to be in if you do that either. So it's like it's touch and go.
Last night I tried to dance in front of him with a Colin the Caterpillar cake, and he wasn't interested. He didn't look at me.
I've done that before, dance in front of the TV.
What did you think of your experience playing it today?
Horrible.
Never again.
I really enjoyed the first shooting against each other. I got really into that.
You dominated that, Lisa.
Yeah.
I think I'd like that better than the zombies one, because the zombies one meant that I just didn't know. I was just running around.
Yeah, zombies was just a bit terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. More angles. Like then there's only 3 of you.
Yeah, there was definitely.
If you hide in a corner.
And so, would you play by choice again?
Never.
I've said I've wanted to play for a few times, but just James don't let me.
Oh,
James
well,
let me.
Maybe one day, at least, we can have a game with you, and it'd probably be much better than with Croxon.
It definitely will be. I'll even talk like him. Hello, birdie.
Well, thank you very much, girls, for coming on.
Thanks
for having
boosting our ratings. You know, please do tell your friends that you came on the famous Pick Up and Play podcast. You can tell them how famous it is in Sweden, and I'm sure they'll be very impressed. We're hoping it to be just as famous in the UK as well one day. But yeah, thank you to Emily, Lisa, and Hannah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time for a Mario Kart version, hey?
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.